Dr. Ron, Unfiltered, Uncensored, is for people who are tired of being misled, over-medicated, and dismissed by the sick care system. Dr. Ron, Unfiltered, Uncensored, stands as the fearless voice of clarity and empowerment. Unlike sanitized health media or corporate-aligned medical messaging, Dr. Ron delivers bold, evidence-informed insights that cut through confusion and restore personal agency. His mission is simple and radical. Give people the truth, give them tools, and give them back control of their health.
Yo, hey man, the doctor's in town. Oh yeah, the doctor's in the house, y'all. He's in the house, man. Listen to this man. He got some good news for you. Hey everybody, gather near. The doctor's in the house, so lend him your ear. The things he can say might even make your day. He might even help your pain go away. The doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. I'm sure he can tell you just what to do. The doctor is in the house.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, the doctor is in the house, and welcome everyone. And welcome back to another episode of Dr. Ron, Unfiltered, Uncensored, and I am Dr. Ron. And today we continue our journey through the Dr. Ron Doctrine. As you remember, each episode is building on the prior episode, and this is now episode number 4. So let's review what we've learned so far. In episode 1, we challenged the idea that cholesterol is the villain. We asked, what if we've been blaming the firefighters for the fire? In episode 2, we explored what happens when we suppress one of the body's most important molecules. We learned that biology works as an interconnected system. And in episode 3, we discovered something even more important. Disease does not begin when symptoms appear. Disease begins when cells lose their ability to adapt. And today, we take the next step. Because if disease begins at the cellular level, what protects those cells? What protects our arteries? What protects blood flow? What protects oxygen delivery? And the answer, my friends, is something most people have never heard of: the glycocalyx. And understanding it may change how you think about cardiovascular disease forever. So let's talk about this invisible organ. Imagine every blood vessel in your body lined with a protective gel. No, not mucus, not plaque, but a living, dynamic, biological shield. It is microscopic, intelligent, constantly communicating, constantly adapting, and that is the glycocalyx. It delivers virtually every healthy blood vessel in your body. It covers them. And yet most patients have never heard the word. In fact, I would dare say some physicians rarely discuss it. Yet it may be one of the most important structures in human health. So I ask, and you ask, what does the glycocalyx do? Well, the easiest thing to do is think of it as nature's Teflon coating. Because it regulates blood flow, it protects the vessel walls, it reduces friction, it regulates inflammation, it controls clotting, it assists in oxygen delivery, it supports nitric oxide signaling. And without it, my friends, blood vessels become vulnerable. Inflammation increases. Repair mechanisms activate. And suddenly, episode 1 begins making sense. Because now we have the reason the firefighters may have been called in the first place. The first crack in the wall, because the Dr. Ron doctrine asks, what causes damage before disease? And one answer may be glycocalyx injury. What damages it? High blood sugar, oxidative stress, smoking, inflammation, ultra-processed foods, which contain that adulterated linoleic acid, environmental toxins, chronic stress, poor sleep, sedentary lifestyles, repeated metabolic insults. Now, that's quite a list, right? But did you notice something? The problem is not cholesterol. The problem is injury. I just want to take a little rabbit trail here because I don't know that everyone really understands oxidative stress. So let's try and go on this rabbit trail before we get back to the doctrine. Imagine your body's cells are like a campfire. They burn the food you eat, glucose and fat, to make energy. But just like a real fire throws off sparks, this cellular burning process throws off tiny, unstable molecules, and that's what we call free radicals. These are atoms or molecules missing an electron, which makes them desperate to steal one from something else nearby, like a cell membrane, a protein, and even DNA. And when they steal that electron, they damage whatever they took it from. Your body isn't defenseless against this. It has a built-in fire department, antioxidants and antioxidant enzymes that neutralize free radicals before they cause damage. Some of these your body makes itself. Others come from food like vitamin C, vitamin E, and systemic enzymes and so forth. Oxidative stress is what happens when the sparks start outnumbering the firefighters. Maybe you're producing more free radicals than usual. Maybe smoking, bad diet, high blood sugar, stress, infection, or maybe your antioxidant defenses are running low. Either way, the damage starts piling up faster than it can be repaired. And that damages to cell membranes, to proteins, and even the LDL cholesterol floating in your blood, which becomes more dangerous once it's been rusted by free radicals in roughly the same way a metal rusts when oxygen attacks it. And just a brief word about the glycocalyx. What is it? Picture the inside of every blood vessel in your body as a garden hose. Now imagine that instead of being smooth and bare, the inner wall of that hose is coated with a thin layer of slimy, fuzzy moss, soft, squishy, a few molecules thick. That coating is the glycocalyx. It's not just slime for the sake of slime. That fuzzy layer does several jobs at once. It acts like a cushion that feels how fast the blood is rushing past and tells the vessel wall to relax or to tighten up accordingly. It acts like a non-stick coating so that blood cells and clotting particles don't stick to the wall of the vessel when they shouldn't. And it acts like a screen door. It controls what can pass from the blood into the vessel wall and then into the tissues beyond. Now, the connection back to oxidative stress is this: that mossy coating is delicate. Things like high blood sugar, inflammation, and excess free radicals act like a power washer on it. They strip it away. And once it's gone, The vessel wall is exposed and sticky, more prone to letting in cholesterol, more prone to clots, more prone to the kind of damage that over years leads to clogged arteries. I hope that gave you an idea of what we're talking about. So let's think logically here. When blood vessels lose that protective coating, blood doesn't flow as efficiently, and the body is intelligent. It compensates. The heart works harder, the pressure rises, adaptation begins. The body is attempting to maintain circulation. Once again, we see the doctrine principle. Symptoms often represent adaptation, not failure, adaptation. And one of the most fascinating observations in medicine is that aging and disease often travel together. I know you're going to say, why is that? Perhaps because the protective systems begin deteriorating. The glycocalyx becomes thinner. Oxidative stress accumulates. Inflammation rises. Blood flow changes. Oxygen delivery suffers. Repair slows down. The cells start struggling. And this brings us directly back to episode 3, cellular dysfunction, tissue dysfunction, organ dysfunction, and the sum total, disease. Everything connects. That's when you get a disease, when all of those things start happening. Blood flow, repairs, cell struggling, cell dysfunction, tissue dysfunction, organ dysfunction. Now you have a disease. And that's how the dots all connect. And here's where the doctrine becomes practical. So how do we support this glycocalyx that probably you never heard of? While research continues to evolve, the fundamentals are remarkably familiar. You've heard it before. Protect your blood sugar. Move your body. Improve your sleep. Reduce ultra-processed foods. Control chronic inflammation. Support nitric oxide production. Maintain hydration. Reduce toxic exposures. Manage stress. Spend times outdoors. Control your EMF exposure, your electromagnetic field exposure. The body already knows how to repair. Our job is to remove the obstacles so it can repair itself. You notice I did not mention any drugs in that process. Protect your blood sugar, move your body, get a good night's sleep, a restorative night's sleep. Get rid of the junk food, the ultra-processed foods. And that inflammation keeps coming up. Control chronic inflammation. Okay, getting the picture? Many people spend years focused on disease, but that's when we add up all the dots. That's when everything gets connected. The doctrine focuses on preserving biology. Think about what we've learned. The body attempts repair. Cells struggle before symptoms appear. The glycocalyx protects circulation. Damage accumulates. Adaptation follows. The last thing to arrive is a diagnosis. The labels that are attached to your processes come at the very end of the story, not at the beginning. So the fourth principle of the Dr. Ron doctrine, here it is. Protect the environment around the cell, and the cell will often protect itself. Protect the environment around the cell, and the cell will often protect itself. Think about it. Most medicine focuses on attacking the disease. The Dr. Ron doctrine focuses on improving the environment in which health occurs. This is a completely different model. So here's my take. Everybody's been searching for the magic bullet. one nutrient, one herb, one drug, one procedure, one breakthrough. But my friends, nature rarely works that way. Health emerges from relationships. The relationship between the cells and its environment. The relation between blood flow and oxygen. The relation between stress and repair. The relationship between lifestyle and biology. Think about it, lifestyle and your biology. The Glycocalyx reminds us that health is not built from the outside in. It is built from the inside out. The future of medicine, in my opinion, won't be about finding another better disease. It will be about understanding the systems that create health. And that understanding has to begin at the cell, at the cellular level. And we've been building on that from episode 1. And the episode 4 principle is protect the environment around the cell, and the cell will often protect itself. So in episode 5 on the Dr. Ron Doctrine, we're going to go deeper. In fact, much deeper, because protecting the cell is important. But what powers the cell? What creates energy? What drives repair? What determines whether we thrive or decline? And that answer, my friends, lies inside tiny structures found in almost every cell of your body. Structures that may determine how well you age, how well you heal, how long you remain vibrant. So I'll give you a little taste of next episode. Well, I'm calling them the engines of life, and that's mitochondria, energy, and the future of health. We'll explore why energy is medicine, why fatigue is never normal, why mitochondria sit at the center of chronic disease, how modern life damages energy production, and what you can do to restore it. Because if disease begins when cells lose their ability to adapt, then adaptation depends on one thing above all else: energy. Energy. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Ron, and this is the Dr. Ron Doctrine. I will see you next time. Be well, stay healthy, and tune in for the episode 5, which I'm sure you will find quite interesting. If you want to read some of my writings, I am also on that's easy for me to say, right? Substack, docronradio.substack.com. And at the end of this, we will have all the episodes together on that platform. In the meantime, you can listen to my podcast on most any platform: Podbean, Spotify, Apple, Alexa. You can listen to it on anything. So have a great day. See you next time.
Hey everybody, Dr. Ron's finished for today. I hope you got some good wisdom for what the man had to say. If it's all about good health, he's the man you got to see. He has a lot more answers for you. So tune in next week when the doctor is in the house. Or when the doctor is in the house. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. When the doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house. Doctor is in the house. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. I'm sure he can tell you just what to do. The doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. When the doctor is in the house.